Today, my friend, I'm going to tell you why consistency in real estate is always going to win over talent. The most talented agent is not always the one that's going to win. I've seen agents that are charismatic, sharp, intelligent, amazing on camera, great with people. Yeah. And a few years later, they're burnt out, they're out of the business, and they simply disappear. And on the other hand, I've seen quiet agents, maybe the ones that are not great on camera, the ones that may not have a huge following, maybe they're a little shy, maybe it took them slower, maybe it took them longer to progress and get better at real estate. And I see them thriving years later, doing better, being consistent, having actually successful businesses. Simple difference? I'm glad you asked. Consistency, my friend. Consistency is the key. But let's be real. Consistency is not easy. It's hard, which is why many people are not consistent. And a lot of times it's not because we don't know what to do. It's simply because we have lives, emotions, family, circumstances. A lot of things happen that will prevent us from showing up every day.
100%.
But as a few agents that make peace with it and prioritize what's important for their business to thrive, that are going to make it happen every day, time after time, and will have a successful, thriving business.
The mindset and the identity side of your consistency. What's really going on the inside? That's what we're going to get into. And for the tactical side, how to structure your days and weeks so you can be consistent in the effort and time that you put into your business. My brother Pedro, as always, he's going to reach out to you and communicate about the mindset side of the business. I'm going to be talking about the tactical operational portion of it. When we put those two sides of the same coin together, we have value. Let's talk about it. One of the things I want to say in regards to something that Pedro just shared with you, and it just clicked in my head when I heard him talking about it, was consistency is indicative of the people that are willing to sacrifice for the greater picture, the targets, the goals that they set for themselves. It's the people that are willing to sacrifice now for later. I love that. So that hit home when you were sharing that with me.
Yes, sir. It's very important. And it's so true.
It really is. Like anybody that's successful, you always hear them talk about what they have to give up in order to get there. You never gain something of more value without giving up something. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
It's only until you come to that realization, it's only until you accept that fact of it.
Yeah. Because that's truly what separates a top producer from a regular agent, right? The top producer makes peace with the things they need to do.
Yes.
And they show up and do it every day. The other agent, they still fight it every day, still battle. And imagine every day of your career battling rather than just surrendering and saying, this is what I need to do in order to get to where I want to be in 5 years.
Yes.
That's a difference.
I love that, man. Let's do it. Yeah, so from a number standpoint, when we're talking about inconsistency, it's one of the clearest and easiest patterns that you can identify in real estate, especially when you're looking at an agent's productivity or actions or career over a long period of time, right? But that's only true if you're tracking your business. One of the common themes that you're going to hear in every single one of the videos when we're talking about tactical, when we're talking about operations, is tracking your business, your KPIs, okay? So if you've never heard me talk about that before, you've heard me talk about it every time. Get used to it, man. You have to track your business. So here's what it usually looks like. Agents have 3 to 5 big days of lead generation, and then we go through a span of 6 to 7 days of just nothing at all. Their CRM reflects that. It shows a random spikes of activity, no activity, activity, no activity. Their pipeline is lumpy. And I love that phrase. I'm going to use that moving forward. The pipeline is lumpy because sometimes we're closing, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we have activity, sometimes we don't.
Social media even reflects that too. You ever seen somebody on your face every day on the newsfeed and then for a month they disappear?
Yes.
And then they come back next month and you're like, oh, here you are again.
That's a good and a bad problem to have, but if we can find that consistency.
Right.
It's that the agent's inputs are all over the place. Sometimes we're putting in effort, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we show up for ourselves. Sometimes we don't. And even more than that, sometimes we show up for the people that need to depend on us, know us, love us, and trust us. And sometimes we don't. Most agents don't have a talent problem. They have a rhythm problem.
Okay.
So here's the other big thing. With consistent agents, they almost always have the same things. A stable number of conversations every single week. A stable number of follow-ups every single week. A reoccurring time block for lead generation and follow-up every single week. Those are things that are common to all of our top producers, people that are being successful.
Yes.
So no agent's production is going to be a rocket. There's going to be fluctuations, But the lack of the big dips and valleys and peaks and valleys is what we're looking for. We're trying to get a trending up approach to our business, what we're experiencing in our success. There's going to be small volleys, but the peaks and valleys are what we're trying to avoid when we're talking about consistency.
The super high highs and the low lows, right?
Right.
We never want to be there because you know where that takes you.
Well, 100%. Stuck. And you don't want to be stuck. I promise you don't want to.
Whether it's because life hit, maybe they got tired, whatever it is, something happened that stopped them from continuing. And then also, not only did the activity change, but also the income. The same way the activity went like this, the same thing, the income. So what happens is you may have 1 month, right? Agents may have a month of where they make, the most money they ever seen.
Yes.
So in the next 2-3 months, they don't make anything. You don't want to live like that. That is a very difficult life unless you have it all figured out. But because of failure to track the activities and all the things that work, I know you always talk about tracking KPIs.
Yes.
Failure to track also stops you from knowing what's working and how to duplicate what is working, right? So for the months where they were highly successful, how can they duplicate it if they don't know what they did? Maybe they just call it luck. Maybe they had more clients than they thought they could. They're not realizing that the results that they're having right now this month came from what they did a couple months back.
100%.
Right? So whatever they missed, they're paying for it right now.
And whatever they made, they're getting paid right now.
Yes. It's always going to come down to what you did in the past that is going to show right now. We all know real estate, we get paid in advance. We don't get paid immediately. So therefore, right now, you should be working on the next 2-3 clients that are going to close in the next 2-3 months. Not right now.
I love that, man. So because I think a lot of real estate agents, especially when just getting into the business, they're thinking, I'm going to go meet somebody. They're going to love me. They're going to love the first house I show them. We're barely going to get in the front door and they're going to say, hey, we want to do a full listing offer.
Right.
Full price offer.
Right.
We don't need anything. My lending is taken care of.
We never need to see you again. We want this house.
Boom and done.
Yep.
And then we're going to write that $10, $12, $20, $30, $40,000 check. Guess what? If you haven't figured this out yet, that's not how this plays out.
No. So a lot of time when all the activity slows down, that's when the doubt really starts to kick in. Maybe I lost it. Right. Maybe it's not, maybe I'm not as good anymore. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they don't like me. A lot of doubt starts creeping in.
To keep running back to tracking your business. If you were tracking your business, the doubt want to creep in because you can look at the list of KPIs that you have and say, what did I do? Do they match? And if you are matching the things that you set yourself up to do every single day, every single week, every month, then you know it's not you. It's just the market. It's just the opportunities, just the situations you find yourself in that moment. You can take you out of it.
And, speaking to what you just said, it's never personal. It's never about you. It's never about maybe you're not good enough. It always just comes down to you not being consistent, my friend. It always comes down to that. Always. Because I promise you, you could be a not talented agent, right? Someone that doesn't really have a lot of talent. Maybe you're not really good. Maybe you're brand new. You do something long enough. You meet enough people. You make enough phone calls a day. You follow up enough with people daily. By the end of the month, you will be better than most people that second guess themselves after months and months of being inconsistent. That's a guaranteed. I promise you that. So when you start stabilizing your routines, even on the days that you don't feel like it, the days that you don't want to show up, but you still have a routine, your emotions calm down. When I started stabilizing my routines, then you know what happened? My pipeline also stabilized. Consistency no longer made me a superhero in a matter of a week. You know what it did? It stopped me from constantly having to rebuild from zero. Because even that's a roller coaster. The same way your pipeline, also having to create business plans every other month because what you're doing is not working. Adding new tasks, new habits, all these different things, you're also going like this, right? So you're no longer having to build from zero every time.
So let me frame this in a really simple way with KPIs.
Let's do it.
If we pull up your last 90 days in the business, these are the things that we would want to look at. Your conversations per week, your follow-ups per week, and your appointment set. Conversations, follow-up, and appointment set. Those are the things that we would want to look at. For most inconsistent real estate agents, their numbers look like this. Week 1, 35 conversations-ish, maybe 12 follow-ups. Week 2, we're talking about maybe 5 conversations and maybe 3 follow-ups. Week 3, maybe 20, 22 conversations and 7 follow-ups. Week 4, 0 conversations, 1 or 2 follow-ups. And that inconsistency is exactly why your results are inconsistent.
Yes.
Now let's compare a consistent real estate agent putting in the work every day, doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Let's do it.
Week 1, 15 conversations, maybe 10 follow-ups. Week 2, 18 conversations, 11 follow-ups. Week 3, 20 conversations, 9 follow-ups. Week 4, 17 conversations with 10 follow-ups. There's no big dips and valleys. There's no peaks and there's no low lows.
They have thresholds, right? And they know the bare minimum in order to reach their goals. And their goal is always going to be to surpass that minimum.
100%, man.
It could always be a little bit of shifts here and there, but their minimum will never be there at the lowest. They're always going to try to surpass it no matter what. It's like anything else, dude. You work out at anything, how can you grow your body if you work out, if you don't show up and train that muscle every day? Will a plant grow if you water it once a week?
Absolutely not.
But if you water it daily, sometimes maybe not enough, sometimes just a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. But if you do it consistently, it will still grow. I promise you that.
And it'll bear fruit. It will bear fruit at some point. So what are we trying to share? What is all this numbers, all these data, all this conversation centered around? The idea is that if we just do small wins every single day consistently, those small wins consistently will lead to the big ones that we're all looking for. And in that consistency, you may close 2 deals this month, but you close 1 next month. Maybe it's 3 the next month. Maybe it's 2 the other one. Versus closing 3 one month, nothing this month, and 1 the next month. So that consistency is going to fluctuate. There will be that life. Nothing in real estate, nothing in life, personal or otherwise, is perfect. But if we just do the things we're supposed to do, the things that we committed ourselves to doing, the things that we know are going to lead to success, the results will reflect.
Because we know consistency will build discipline, right?
100%.
Discipline builds character and confidence, right? And then what happens to you? Now you believe what you say, right? Now from that point on, your threshold and your standard of what working is and showing up for your businesses is at a higher level, and it could never go lower because you believe, you've shown it to yourself day after day that you have done it and you will continue to do so. Therefore, you walk around looking at other people in a way where you say, I show up for mine. Do you do the same for yours? That's the difference between the people that don't show up for theirs.
Yes.
They haven't built that discipline that will give them that self-respect that they're missing.
I would tell you, last piece of the puzzle for me on that topic is
super high highs, super low lows. That roller coaster of real estate. How many people in real estate tell you that? You know, it's always up and down. But a few people, the highly successful people, the ones I've met, the people that have figured it out, an actual system, a business, they're not the business, but they built the business, they avoid the roller coaster. And throughout my years of coaching and training agents, you know, what I realized is one of the things that happens is, what happens? There are seasons where agents go all in.
Right.
All in, right? Tons of calls, tons of cold calling, tons of follow-ups, tons of everything. Social media, and then it disappears. Right? Like it was never there.
It's incredibly impactful when real estate agents know their own worth because of the service that they provided. They know their own worth because they showed up for themselves. They built the confidence that led to not faith in themselves anymore. They know that they can be successful. Yes. They know they can win in this business. They know that they can show up and add value to the people in front of them. I absolutely love what you just shared, man. And it's spot on.
See, a lot of us talk about consistency as something mechanical, something boring. But in reality, when you zoom in, consistency is self-respect. That is the highest form of self-respect you can show yourself. So why would you not respect yourself? How can you live with looking in the mirror knowing that you are not going to respect yourself, that you're not going to show up, that you make a promise to your family, to yourself, that you are going to succeed your business and still be okay with failing every day? Is that something you want to deal with every day? You really got to just think about that and say, the days I don't show up, I'm disrespecting myself and those that I've shared with that I was going to do this.
So something that Tom Ferry was talking about at one of the summits that we went to was telling everybody you know what your plan is versus being a hidden real estate agent, right? So what I mean by that is, hey, I'm going to call 10 people every single day.
I'm going to be a top producer by the end of the year.
I'm going to be a top producer by the end of the year. I tell my brother, Pedro, I'm going to show up on Tuesday at this time to do this thing for this amount of hours. And what that does, when we share that with somebody that we know and trust, that knows and trusts and loves us, is it's an accountability point. Because you know what Pedro's going to do? Hey, Rick, man, did you do the thing that you said you were going to do? Did you do it the many times you said? Did you do it as long as you said, to the depth that you said you were going to do it? Because Pedro holds me in high esteem. And so sometimes I'm not enough to push through whatever emotion I'm feeling in that day. But sharing that, having an accountability point, Pedro, your brother, your peer, your mentor, your coach, your broker, whatever that is, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever that is, your dog, your kids, whatever it is for you, I encourage you to speak your consistency out into the world so that sometimes on the days that we are not enough, and those days will happen, we have people that hold us to that high level of standard that we expect from ourselves so that we will never disrespect ourselves and the people that depend on us.
But think about this. Even when you do that and you share with people, at the end of the day, those are just barriers to make it harder for you to fail. But if you still choose to fail and be inconsistent, you're letting yourself down. Not anyone else. You. The people you told they're still going to move on with their lives. You're the one that still got to look in the mirror every day and say, I told 20 people and still didn't do it. How could I be okay with this? Think about that. So instead of thinking, I need to be more consistent, start thinking, I am the person that is consistent. I am the person that shows up every day, that is not going to self-disrespect, and someone that is going to deliver on the promises that makes and to everyone else. Right? I deliver. When I say something, I deliver. That's the person I am. That's who Pedro is. When you start telling yourself those types of things, the chemistry in your brain changes. Your identity changes. Remember, it goes back to identity. Who are you? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself the way God sees you? And if the answer is no, then work on that. So another big mindset for me was rhythm over intensity. If your plan only works on your best days, then that's not a real plan.
I like that one. So I like that one. If your plan only works on your best days, it's not a plan.
It's a fantasy. It's not a plan. It's a fantasy. So this only works when you're at your best. What happens if you're sick tomorrow, Rick? Does your plan disappear, crumbles? That's not a plan. That's you banking on always being perfect and always being 100%. That's not human life.
I love that, man. Good point.
It's fantasy. What can I still do on my worst day? That's a plan. A plan that is time proved, that it will never expire no matter what happens, no matter how you feel, no matter if you show up at 30% or 100%. You can still deliver. So when you went back to the top producers that have their threshold and they never fail it, they made it that way to where even at their worst, they're going to hit that 15 they started with. Some days they may hit 100, but they're never going to be below that 15. I know that.
Man, you're putting out so many golden nuggets right now because that's absolutely true. It's absolutely true in regards to every day you're not going to be perfect. Every day you're not going to be at 100%. Most days you may not even feel like doing what you're doing. But if the plan is in place, and regardless of how you feel, you still will find consistency, which will find the results that you want, which leads to success over time. I love that, man. Thank you.
So remember, my friends, we're not chasing hero days. We're chasing steady days. That's what's important. With that being said, I want you guys to comment below, comment the word consistency, and we're going to send you this whole script that we talked about. We want to give you some pointers. We want to give you some advice, some actionable items that you can take to show up every day for yourself, because you deserve it, and because you want to start respecting yourself even more. So comment below, and my friend, as always, we thank you for watching. God bless.
God bless.